Yes? Birth control. So the issue of birth control is not a simple one, simply because to allow birth control outright without any questions is not a good thing, and therefore not allowed. Because one of the main reasons of why a person gets married is to bring children to the world, not just to simply fulfill his desires, and not necessarily just to eliminate, sinful behavior. But sinful behavior is not just if the seed of the husband is outside of his wife. The sin it has to be utilized in the right way, meaning that even if a husband and wife are married, it doesn't mean that they can do whatever they want whenever they want. So if they do not have children, the husband is obligated to at least try to have children until he has at least a boy and a girl. Some say 2 boys at least and 1 girl. But nonetheless, he has to have at least 1 boy and 1 girl. Until then, he's not allowed to encourage his wife to not have any children because he wants to enjoy her, or he wants to go on vacation, or he can't afford it, or any of those reasons. If a person does something like that, meaning he takes birth control as a result of things like that, then it's forbidden. On the other hand, if, let's say, having a child will actually put the woman in danger, either because she just had a baby within, let's say, the last year, so her body hasn't fully recovered, so she can't have another child right now, it would be dangerous, or because she is psychologically or physically unwell, and a pregnancy can put her in harm's way, then there's no problem of allowing her to have a birth control. But again, each case has to be evaluated independently. You can't just issue it a flatly allowed for everyone whenever they want, just because each case has to be evaluated independently. But there are many times that Jewish women are allowed to use birth control. Typically, the most common time is usually after they just had a baby, and typically it's for at least a year, sometimes for longer, depending on how fast she recovers. Some women recover, after only a few months. Some women, it takes them more than 2 years. So it all depends on the woman, it depends on their body. It doesn't necessarily depend on the age as much. I've seen a woman that was in her 20s, take 2-3 years to recover from a pregnancy. And I see another woman that was also in the same age. She recovered a month later. Literally, a month after she had a baby, she was pregnant again. It was unbelievable. It's like literally like Mitzrayim. In Egypt, they had 6 kids at a time. It was like that. Some people are like that. Baruch Hashem. And they took advantage of it and they had more kids. So again, it all depends. It all depends. So if the woman needs it for physical reasons, again, she has to get rabbinical permission, and it's usually not a problem. But if it's just because they don't feel like having kids, because they think it's too expensive, or because she doesn't want to ruin her body or anything like that, then that's a problem. Then that's a problem. As far as outside of marriage, if it's not for the sake of promiscuity, meaning if, let's say, for example, a woman has a difficult time with her time of the month. Some women bleed a lot, or they have all types of issues when it comes to it, and birth control regulates them. So for that, it's allowed. It's not a problem. But if it's to allow her to be promiscuous, then obviously it's not allowed. So again, it all depends. It's in Judaism, there's no black and white. There's black, white, there's gray, and sometimes shades of gray on certain halachot, depending on the people, depending on the circumstance, depending on a lot of different factors. But that particular issue is an issue we've dealt with quite a few times, and usually what we do with women that are that ask us questions on a regular basis and so on, and ask us about these types of things, is usually by default. It's after they have a child, they need time to recover. So to have a birth control after that is relatively normal, relatively standard. And we say we'll review it a year from now, meaning you give her a year to recover without thinking twice. With no problem, you could give her a year to recover. If she recovers faster and she wants to have a kid sooner, by all means. There's no prohibition of having a kid a day later. But obviously she has to be Torah again. But the point is that if she's able to, and physically, and then she can. But if She wants to take a break, let's say, without having too much issues. You can take the pills for a year after a woman has delivered a child. After a year is completed, then you review the case again. You see how physically, how she is, psychologically how she is. Mental health is very important. Sometimes a woman could be physically healthy but mentally a mess. Sometimes women could get even to a point of suicide as a result of having a child, of having postpartum depression. There are certain women that they get their hormones get completely off balance, and it could even take years to recover. Where they have a child, but their personality transforms from this happy-go-lucky person, everything was great, to this person that wants to die and doesn't know why, doesn't have a reason why. So there are certain things, it happens. This is also why it's very, a woman that's smart, it's very important for a woman to only marry a person that learns Torah. If you're a smart person, you only marry a person that learns Torah, because a regular secular person will never know how to deal with a woman that has any issues. A regular secular person knows how to deal with a body. He knows how to deal with his desires. He wants to fulfill his desires. When he wants to eat, he knows there's food in the closet. When he wants to drink, he knows there's something in the fridge. When he wants to play with something, he just grabs whatever. But when he wants to mate, he has this woman thing. Like, he doesn't understand, like, if there's like issues, there's complications, he doesn't really know what to do with it. So if a woman tells him, I'm depressed, he doesn't know what to do with it. Like, a secular person has no concept of what to do with it. He goes, oh yeah, okay, you're gonna get over it. Like, he doesn't have the tools to deal with it. He doesn't know why, who, what, when, and how. But when a person learns Torah, the Torah itself gives him, first and foremost, a certain amount of sensitivity to people in general. Needless to say, the most important people in his life. Second of all, a certain amount of knowledge of how to deal with certain things. So a woman that's smart literally will understand that to marry a ben Torah, to marry a person that learns Torah, is the greatest gift she could ever give herself. The greatest gift. If women actually knew the value of Torah, they wouldn't marry a person that's not a Torah scholar. Simply wouldn't. It wouldn't even be a consideration. Women would be the most modest women in the world just to find a ben Torah that would marry them. If women actually understood the benefit of marrying a person that knows Torah. Because your average person out there does not have the tools to be able to deal with the needs of women as a husband. Just doesn't. So as soon as there's an issue, she has some type of mood swing, an emotional swing, a bad day or whatever, he wants to get a divorce. Why? I got you when you were good. I got you when you were brand new out of the box. You were happy all the time, you felt good all the time, you were healthy all the time, you want to have the fun all the time. Now all of a sudden you have headaches? I didn't get that. I didn't sign up for headaches. Oh, now all of a sudden your back hurts? I didn't sign up for back hurts. Now all of a sudden you have mood swings? I didn't sign up for mood swings. Now all of a sudden you have these kids? Yeah, but they're your kids also. Yeah, but I didn't sign up for that either. Like, all of a sudden, all this baggage that she comes with, he doesn't know what to do with it. So he doesn't have the tools and he doesn't want to deal with it. And many times you have divorces happen as a result of the guy doesn't want what he signed up for. He doesn't realize he signed up for it. Because he thought he's going to get what the first thing, the brand new out of the box. The 18, 20-year-old that he got, he thinks it's going to be that way forever. He doesn't realize that things change. And in reality, the Gemara says, women and men are completely two different species. They're not like opposite genders. They're two different species. They're two different people. It's called two different nations. Why? Because there's a significant difference. So if a man invests his time in Torah, he'll know how to deal with these things.